Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
I started doing research just like any marketing 101 and found that a few type of people like me are very purposeful and very goal-driven and hate shopping and laundry, and mostly are guys. Turn out that we start Taelor, and it's a company that we help busy people, and mostly guy, but we also have women.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman Podcast, the #1 show on visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs. If you want to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice and business, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Spurk, and I'm your host, professional singer and visibility strategist. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode.
Planning for your legacy should be empowering. That's why we've partnered with Tim Gorman, author of Tangled Legacy, Turning Estate Planning Mistakes into Successes, your essential guide to building wealth and securing your family's future. Invest in your legacy. Learn more about workshops, classes, and one-on-one coaching at dgrealtyadvisors.com. Ready to go from financial stress to financially thriving? At Money Essentials for Women, we provide coaching and resources to help you reach your biggest financial goals with ease. From early retirement and debt payoff to home ownership, career growth, and more. Learn more and set up a free consultation with one of our expert coaches at www.money-essentials.com. Hi, Anya. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Empowered Woman podcast. How are you?
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Anya from here in the Silicon Valley in the Bay Area. Happy holidays, everyone. So I am now CEO of Taelor. We use AI to pick clothes for guy and so take something off woman's plate and also send them real clothes for them to wear for a couple of weeks. And before starting the company, I have 15 years in big tech companies before, mostly recent at Facebook, where I helped build out Facebook shopping. I was head of product at eBay, help them to build out new business in the US and also new market in Latin America, Africa, Asia. Was a senior director at McDonald's, helped them to build out food delivery business when Uber Eats just started, and help build Target's Silicon Valley office for mobile tablet e-commerce. I'm excited to be here today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You just said all of those things like it's nothing. We're going to have to unpack all of those. How did you even get into working with these big companies? Tell me the backstory. I'm super curious.
All right. That time back to 2008 when I graduated from Northwestern University with a master's degree in marketing. I just moved from Taiwan to the US. I barely spoke any English. Someone asked me, "Are you seeing someone?" And I turned around, look at behind, like, no, there's no one here. Are you seeing a ghost? English is hard. Are you seeing someone? I don't see anyone here.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I happened to graduate during the big receptions when Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy, so there was no job anywhere. So I print out 2,000 alumni list because people told me Chicago is a small town. You need to go to bigger city. So I went to New York and LA, bigger city. I calling 2,000 alumni that I can find from the school directories. And I met with them one by one. It wasn't where no one's really having any jobs and not even meeting with me much. At that time, I was very interested in doing marketing for a media company, and I didn't know there's no job like that. When you see CNN advertising on ESPN, right? So there's no job like that, but I didn't know. So one day I got rejected again. I walked out the buildings. It was snowing, and my black high heel just step on a water. Well, no, it's a black slash, more of the snow in New York.
Yeah.
Like black slash. So my feet was so cold and tired. I walked into a restaurant and I had ordered a typical, very normal, very expensive Chinese food, which I have it every day back in Taiwan. And as soon as the dish arrived, my tear dropped. There's something that I can easily get in Taiwan, but in the US, everything seems impossible. So I walk out the restaurant, it starts raining again. Yes, even God tell me to stop. So I was trying to avoid a rain by zipping between different newsstands. And I glanced on the newspaper. It say If you want advertise, call this number. Perfect. You also say publisher name so and so. So then I start calling all of them. I bought all the newspaper. I calling each of the CEO, and I say publisher. I la la la. And then eventually I met with New York Times, CNN, VP of ESPNs, and NBC, etc. But everyone say we are not hiring. So I thought this is working, but it seems too slow. So I want to go to a conference where there's thousands of people. It seems a lot faster that way, but I cannot afford it. So I call a newspaper back in Taiwan. I say, hey, do you want to cover some amazing conference in New York for free? They say, okay, how about that? So I call the conference. I'm a reporter from Taiwan. I need a press pass, and I got in. So eventually I met hundreds of people for 2 months, staying on friends' couches every week, but there was no job. So I went back to Chicago. I thought I learned lots, even though I didn't get anything. So I found a local magazine company that produced magazine and newspaper for salon owners and farmers. So I interview their reader and advertiser before I go. I put together a business plan based on what I have learned in those 2 months. And the CEO asked me, would you like to be a contractor? I didn't know what that mean Englishly. So I say yes. I went home. I Googled contractor. I didn't know why she want me to be a plumber, but I got my first job.
Oh, wow. Okay. You have your hand in comedy as well, I see. And I love the storytelling. This is just, but please, I need to talk about the resilience and the determination calling all these people, because I think, especially at this day and age with social media and so many ads of people saying, make $1 million by selling this one course, it's easy to forget that there's work involved. And there is lots of closed doors and rejection and no, and not getting exactly what you want and taking the time, right, to connect with people and also understanding that things take time. So thank you so much for being that person that has done all these things and share and to be sharing it so boldly and also vulnerably with us, because we need to be a reminder that it takes work. It's not, I mean, even if you're working a job, it takes work, but just the pursuit also takes work. So now I want to know, from working a job to then opening up your own startup, what is that like? How did that happen?
Yeah, I was the head of product at eBay. And among many head of product globally, I was the only woman minorities in the office. So I felt a little bit imposter syndrome. I led large engineering team and tech teams and mostly guy. So I want to look great. So I tried some subscription boxes, but you have to buy from every single shipment. And I didn't want to own that much stuff. I tried some rental company that newly rent the runways, and it's great that you can rent, but you have to browsing through thousands of items to pick one thing. And I wasn't into fashion, and I'm still not into fashion. So I thought there's maybe something that really for people who are not into fashion. Must be some people like me. I need to look good. I don't care about fashion. I don't want to do shopping and I don't want to do laundry. And I just want to save time. I want to look good to get a job, get a day, close a deal. Yeah. And so I start doing research just like any marketing 101 and found that a few type of people like me really are very purposeful and very goal driven and hate shopping and laundry, and mostly are guys. So turn out that we start Taelor, and it's a company that we help busy people, and mostly guy, but we also have women who wear menswear. We help them to use AI to pick perfect outfit to make them stand out. The item arrive clean and ready to wear. You wear for a couple weeks. Once you are done, you send back the dirty clothes. We wash them, send to other people, circular fashion. You support sustainability. But if you love something, you can also buy it with a discount.
Awesome. And you do have a code for us, for anyone listening that's interested, because one of the things I wanted to touch on is, because the majority of the women or the people listening are women, is how this can be beneficial for women, since you don't have the women's version of it now. But tell us about the code and also how women can leverage this amazing website.
Yeah, for holiday, if you are tired of you seeing your brother, your husband, your boyfriends, and your dad who wear the same thing again and again last 10 years, and and you're also tired of help them going to shopping and laundry, how about saving your and their time and upgrade your family and style? So yeah, so we offer gift card and it's something really sustainable. You think of this today, 10% of the carbon emission in the world actually came from fast fashion, 10%.
Wow.
30% of clothes that you see or may not see
Right.
in retails go directly from factory to landfills.
Wow.
30%. So a lot of brand actually burn their clothes because they don't want to go to outlet or get into discount stores. And producing each garment would take lots of a crazy amount of water and energy. So I think sustainability gift is what this holiday should be. And also it's really hard to give a right gift, right? So just most people have everything they needed. And in fact, they are trying to declutter their home. So why give something that you may or may not sure the other person will like? How about give them some options? So we offer gift card, which they will have professional stylists with powerful AI tool to style them. And they will be able to pick from over 10,000 garments from our 300 brands that we partner with, and all of them are quite high quality, and a lot of them are sustainable brand made by recycled coffee ground, recycled plastic bottle. Yeah, and all you need to use is the Taelor.style, Taelor.style, and 30% code is woman 30.
Woo! And I'll have that in the show notes. Now, I do want to hear about some of the hurdles in getting the startup off the ground and with using, e-commerce, the web platform, and just what were some of the challenges? Because a lot of the people listening, the majority of them are service based, but I think there's so much we can learn about a product based business, but also the side of the sustainability that you just shared that is so important because it's not one and done. And there's the dry cleaners perk there, which I think is fabulous. But tell us more about some of the challenges that you have faced and maybe to encourage somebody out there that's considering something like that.
Yeah, when I started a company 2 years ago, I went to a startup competitions, and I think the best way to practice startup competition will be finding formal judges. So I found 42 of them.
Oh.
Mock practice for my pitch. So
Mm,
of course, when I went on the startup competition pitch, my pitch was perfect.
mm,
But right after my pitch, the judge asked me a question.
mm. Hey, let me ask you a question. Would you like to be my next guest on the Empowered Woman podcast? Do you have a story you'd like to share? Want more visibility for your business on a show ranked in the top 0.5% in the world? Well, then head on over to martasburg.com/podcast guest for more information.
And I stunned. I just stunned because all in my head, I wasn't trying to answer the question. I was trying to think, yes, I heard this question from judge practice number 37, and I put the answer in the appendix slide 21 because I didn't believe I can answer. I was trying to find the answer, almost like when you were a student, you went to an open book exam. You saw the question and you start finding the answer, and then you spend half an hour and finally, the exam ends. You realize you haven't written down anything, but in fact, you go home, you look at the question. Oh my, I actually know the answer, right? So I think trust yourself, and it's really, really important because every day when you're running your business, you probably see problems all day long. This is a problem, that's a problem, right? So many times you will realize that you will think that you actually you are not a great business or what. But then once you go out and really take outside look, hey, you are doing amazing. So trust yourself. No one else know your business better than you do.
Yes. That is, I mean, it boils down to that mindset and the self-trust and everything. Because otherwise we don't wake up in the morning and go out. I mean, we still do. But to create something new, it really takes that self-belief and that self-trust. So thank you for reminding us of that. And I would love to hear a little bit more about your experience working in such big companies. So you said Facebook, um, and eBay and McDonald's. Tell us more about the skills that you developed there that are now a lot in and at play in your own business.
Yeah, I think one thing I learned, I was a head of product in the last 10 years, building new features like Facebook shopping or eBay's classify. You sell something, people in sell in Mexico, Argentina, South Africa, or Uber, similar to Uber E for McDonald's.
Okay.
And one thing that is really helpful is that they call it the minimum viable product, which is something that you do pretty small to verify your hypothesis. Most of people make a mistake. They thought it just means small. No, it means it's small enough to verify the hypothesis. For example, when people heard when Rent the Runway started, which is a woman's rental subscription company, has been 15 years a public company today, and when that's their biggest hypothesis is that women rent dress. Because if they don't, what's the point that you buy clothes or build apps, right? So what they do instead of buying clothes or start partnering someone, what they do is that they screenshot plenty of clothes from a department store. They send to a group of students who are going party and ask them, would you like to rent those clothes? They didn't buy the clothes. They didn't have anything, and there's no website or app or AI, but all they do is ask people what you rent. And by responding to the email, they verify people have interest. Then from there, the business started, right? So think about what's your minimum viable product for your business or even small feature. Hey, I think that we should launch this chatbots before you build AI chatbots. Then pretend that you are behind the thing and see if people interact with your chatbot, right? Just like Alexa started, there's no AI behind. They were human behind because if people don't want to talk to the machine, then why would you build Alexa? Right. So we call it fake door or Wizard of Oz test. So start using that then for your small business because then every resource is quite valuable and you may not have much to waste. So test out first.
Yes, oh, that is so important. And again, something that we can learn so much from big companies, and we may forget as small business owners or coaches and service providers in that sense. I mean, look at what I forget. I think I read it somewhere. Somebody told me it's like, you know what Nike and Coca-Cola are, but they're still advertising, right? They still have to test things out and they still have to put things out. And what makes you think as a small business owner that you can just not do anything? You still need to engage and ask people what they're interested in and go through the whole trial and error process like any other company would. So yes, very, very valuable. Well, before I have you share how people can connect with you personally, now that they already know all about Taelor, I would love to ask you my $1 million question that I ask all of my guests. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So Anya, what is an empowered woman then?
Yeah. I think that what that meant is that people can feel like they are the best version of themselves. So they don't have to feel like they are someone else. They can really be themselves and only focus on what's matter for them, for what's for their work. Just like when I was head of product at eBay, I shouldn't be worried about what I looks like, right? I should be focusing on getting the best roadmap out there. And so, but I did worry about that. I did feel imposter syndrome. Wasn't sure if me as a minority woman, will people really treat me as a respectful boss who they can respect. So I think the empower means they can feel ready and be themselves and doing what they do best.
Yes, which goes back to what you said earlier is just trust yourself.
Yeah, and I have few tips for women out there. I think one people office work and tend to get onto woman's desk, right? New hire, hey, why don't you onboard these guys? Hey, we have a holiday party. Why don't you do this? You are more organized, more detail oriented, so you should organize that. And you order lunch Friday for our all hand before holiday for budgetings, right? So, and it's hard to say no. So why don't you say yes? I will organize a rotation list. How about I do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, right? So being a leader and you delegate to other people. So it doesn't feel like you saying no, but in fact you are saying no because you delegate to other people, and organizing the rotation list. Or we found out that Facebook, when any old hand, if guy asks the first question, the rest of the question will be asked 80% by guy. If woman asks the first question, the rest of the question will be asked half a half by woman and woman, or woman and guy. So then why don't you be always ask the team to save the first spot for woman to answer to ask the first questions? Or for example, we know that sometimes we all have imposter syndromes. So the trick is that you will have a voice in your head saying that you cannot do it. But it's really hard to shut down the voice when the voice is really big. But usually the voice isn't big when you started. I cannot do it. 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 So the trick is that to shut it down before the voice become too big. So then you are acting early. Another thing is that on the weekend, research shows that guys tend to hang out with their non-working friends. Guys tend to hang out with their working friends, and women tend to hang out with people who are not relevant to work. And as you can imagine, then guys start getting insights about the companies. And so on the one hand, I'm not asking you to spend your weekends with your office dude, but due next week, find someone in your office who you are not super familiar with and ask for dinner or lunch, just a simple office lunch. Meet someone who are your loose tie, and this will really help to expand your network and then getting additional insight that's helpful for your work.
These are so good. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's things that we don't often think about or that we don't know, like the statistics you just shared. If the first question is asked by a woman, then that can set the tone for more women asking the question. So amazing. I so appreciate talking to you. This was so fun and lively. You are so fun. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story. How can people connect with you and learn more about you?
Yeah, so feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. I'm Anya Chen, ANYACHENG. You can also find me email anya@taelor.ai, TAELOR.ai. You can also find our website, which is taelor.style, TAELOR.STYLE. So we would love to hear from you if you are preparing some holiday gift for your clients, for your potential customers, or even for people who you are coaching. And the looking good could be the easy first steps for $79 with 20% discounts, and or 30% discount today using Woman 30, and they can be simply an easy way for them to feel difference and also take something off their plate, so then they can spend their mind space on something that's important.
Yes, very nice. Well, thank you so much. This was wonderful, and I look forward for everyone to checking out the website and connecting with you.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's Anya Chen from Taelor.style.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends, or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.